could very well save your life.
All righty. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back. I feel like I haven't been live in a minute. Piper's good to see you. Jill, Scorpio, CJK. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about today. Here, let me put that thumbnail back up for you. So I left one thing out of the title of the video, and that's Libby's phone data. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at Dr. Wallace's testimony about Richard Allen's confession. We also have 2 phone calls to support what Dr. Wallace has to say. And I think it serves as proof that Richard Allen was not under psychosis. So we have Dr. Wallace's testimony, the most damaging confession of them all. The most detailed confession, right, is the one reported by her, coming from her testimony. So we also have her explaining the situation, right? Hey, he called his wife. We spoke. Then he wanted to call his wife again. I tried to give her some privacy, but he asked Dr. Wallace to stay. He wanted her by his side. So we actually have the phone calls where he's like, well, somebody's with me. So there were 2 phone calls made that day, both where he's confessing. We're going to listen to both of those. Well, those 2 phone calls are proof that Richard Allen was in a clear state of mind. So he's making these confessions, and he's obviously not out of his mind at all. So we're going to hear Dr. Wall explain how he confessed in great detail. We're going to look at these details. We're going to see if they can be supported or corroborated by any other information. Well, they can. We're going to look at Brad Weber's timeline when he clocked out of work and how long it takes to get from Lafayette back to Delphi to his residence, and if that fits with the phone data from Libby, from when it kind of tells us when she's running and moving, if she's going up an elevation, down an elevation, how far did she go. So it all matches up. So without a doubt, this is some of the biggest evidence and proof of Richard Allen's guilt and his involvement in the case. So we will focus in on that today. Paul, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Scorpio says, Kathy's denial is absurd. Well, I think that's what Richard Allen was trying to show Dr. Walla. Like, he couldn't really explain his problem. He's like, I just want peace, but watch. I want to show you what happens. Right? You're my doctor, kind of. You know what I'm going through. You know, I have this personality disorder where I'm attached to my wife. So I want you to see what happens when I try to find peace. So Dr. Walla, don't go anywhere. I want you to see I want you to see exactly what I'm dealing with. So he calls his wife, and she's like, no, you didn't. Something's wrong with you. Something's not right. But he's literally sitting there with his doctor. And she testified, yeah, he was fine at that point. So we're going to hear all of that. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate your support. Very generous of you. Thank you. Thank you. Jill, if I don't acknowledge you, I'm not being an ass. I'm laying here with my eyes closed because I'm sick. Well, I hope you feel better. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, we can definitely use the support right about now. Thank you so much. Scorpio, that's a good point. Kathy doesn't even want to hear any of that as soon as the subject is brought up. Well, Kathy's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. She has her subconscious, which naturally wants to kind of lay in all that denial. And then she's trying to combat that with dealing with Brad and Andy. They're over there, you know, to her, they're a trusted source. And these guys exploit that. You know, they exploit ignorance. That's what they do. I think doctors do it, mechanics do it, dentists, they all do it, right? To exploit the insurance companies and things like that. That's all they're doing. They're exploiting her. She has no clue what the fuck is going on, right? Her whole life has just been flipped topsy turvy. And they're like, yeah, they're trying to convince her that he's being messed with, and they're trying to get him to falsely confess and all of that. They did a really good job. We don't give them enough credit. But if you see, there's about 30% of the Delphi um, community, they kind of bought it hook, line, and sinker, what the defense team was trying to put out there. And they still have the hook stuck in their mouth. So I think it's important when we do these types of live stream that we put the facts out there. That way you guys can use this as ammunition when you're being attacked on social media, so that we can honor Abby and Libby, because it's the truth. They don't give, they try to masquerade. Oh, we want true justice, but they don't care. If you listen to them and see what they do, none of it is for the memory of Abby and Libby or to help prevent these types of things from happening. It's all about fuck the police. They didn't do a good job. They're corrupt. Brad and Andy, they say other people did it, so we got to, we're going to believe it. So therefore, it can't be Rick Allen if they're telling us, they're our leader. They need leaders, right? They can't think for themselves. Right? Sit around waiting for somebody to tell them what to think. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of ammo here. So I think we'll break it down just like that. Dr. Wallace's testimony about Richard Allen's, I guess, his most detailed confession. And right smack dab in the middle of his, confessing to Dr. Walla, he's making phone calls to his wife. So we have both of those phone calls. We're going to listen to how he sounds. I'll let you guys be the judge. You can determine for yourself whether or not he sounds like he's under psychosis. But we have the detailed confession. We have Dr. Wallace's testimony, which matches with that. And then we even have the phone calls to kind of give us a fly on the wall type of view at to exactly what was going on. Almost like time traveling. So not only do we get to hear what Dr. Wallace says happened, we actually have some corroborating pieces of evidence. And then not only with this evidence, we're going to go ahead and look at Brad Weber and his clock in and clock out on his time card. It matches perfectly with Richard Allen's confession about a van scaring him. Right? I mean, we're talking down to the minute here, guys. It's precision. And then his time card information matches perfectly with Libby's phone data of being startled. Richard Allen says they crossed the creek. Well, her phone data says, yeah, they crossed the creek. They ran a certain distance and went up 2 floors in elevation. Matches perfectly with the terrain. So, I mean, that right there is a trifecta. And how do people argue that away? Oh, well, there's a camera of Brad Weber. Okay, well, what's the timestamp of Brad Weber's white van, going towards a private drive? Oh, it says 2:48. Oh, is that AM or PM? Well, it says 2:48 AM. Okay, well, that should tell you enough, right, that the timestamp is not correct. So when you have a convicted child killer and you're trying to convince others that he's innocent, that's you molding your theories to fit your bias, right? It's obvious. If it says AM, there's no way you can rely on that timestamp. But yet you're going to, right? You're just going to forget that part. And that's the confirmation bias setting in and your ego not allowing you to change trajectory when you need to. Dark side is in the building. It's disgusting to see. It really is. And it's just funny. Oh, well, we want real justice for Abby and Libby. Well, why aren't we addressing any of the actual facts around the case? Why are we ignoring all of that? So we're just going to spend some time focusing in on some of the real crucial pieces of information that got Richard Allen in the position that he's in now, which is locked up in prison. Because it's not because he's being set up, it's because they actually have proof. They can prove that he's guilty. Now, you can fantasize, that somehow Brad Weber is working alongside Dr. Monica Walla, right, to fuck over Richard Allen. It's just not happening, right? Even though Brad and Andy, your leaders, have convinced you of that, right? You're susceptible to the manipulation of psychopaths, whether that be defense attorneys or serial killers. It's just something you're going to have to face. Sometimes we have to face hard truths. It's just the way it is. Piper's, none of his confessions sounded like psychosis. Well, I didn't get to hear all the other ones, and I'm sure some of them were really strange. But the most important one, right, is this very detailed, the one where he's out of his psychosis. All the doctors agree, yes, he's not under psychosis. He makes this very detailed confession. And then he's ready to go ahead and be at peace with it. But he wants to show his doctor exactly what he's dealing with and why he's going crazy. Because even though he wants to confess, really the only person he cares about will not allow it to happen. So it's like, right when they hung up, he's probably like, see, you see what I'm dealing with? Even if I wanted to confess, I can't. Because I don't want to upset this person who's obviously being manipulated by two defense attorneys to get what they need, right? And basically what they need is what's good for Kathy, because she wants to get these guys, she wants to get Richard Allen off too. And it's good for their career to get that off, to get him off. But there's other ways to find success, right? Prolonging something to maximize your marketability. Now, if you look at some of the recently released behind the scenes exhibits between the defense attorneys and they're communicating with some of their colleagues, they talk about that. Like, no matter what happens, your firm, the name of your firm is going to be on the front page of, all across the world. So no matter what happened to Richard Allen, he is the sacrificial lamb. If there's any sacrifice going on, any ritual, he's the sacrifice. He's the one that was thrown to the wolves, right? Any good conspiracy just means that Brad and Andy would be on it as well, to make sure that he ends up where he's at. That's just not what's going on. Everybody has their own variable, their own motivating factors. Prosecution and the investigative team, they don't want anybody to know about their mistakes, right? We got our guy. There's nobody else involved. Slam dunk. That's what the history books will read. That's when you look back at the case 50, 60 years from now, that's how it's going to read. The Carroll County, knocked it out the park. They got their guy. Nobody else was involved. Keegan Kline, who? Odinism, what? It's just Richard Allen. That's what they're worried about. Because humans, we have short-term memories. He was probably surprised at his family's reaction. Well, especially when he's finally come to terms with it. This is right around the time that he's found God. And I think he found God because I think he really thought he was going to have a heart attack. I think he thought he was going to die. He's like, this is going to kill me. Dr. Walla testified to that he said he felt like his heart was going to explode. And he also made a comment about it's important to find God before you die. So he thinks he's going to have a heart attack. He finds God, and now he's ready to confess. He's like, I'm ready to be at peace with it. Like, what are all these games about? Like, I'm ready to confess. Like, what are we doing here? So you can only assume, right, that that's when Brad and Andy stepped in. Instead of allowing things to go the natural course, they yanked it. They lassoed it by the neck and they drug it wherever they wanted to go with it, which is maximum exploitation. They exploited it. And you can't blame them for that. You know what I mean? This is their career. This is their business. You know, it's the frog and the scorpion. I can't believe you stung me. I floated you across the creek, Mr. Scorpion, and you still stung me. Well, yeah, motherfucker, I'm a scorpion, right? I'm gonna do what scorpions do. So I don't fault, you know, the defense team at all. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Those rallying to free the convicted killer are just repulsive, in my opinion. Well, it's repulsive. Look, I don't have a problem with people rallying around a convicted killer, but give me something to hold and shake in the air and help you. I would love to stand next to you. But when you say stupid shit like, "Oh well, Brad Weber's van, it's on camera and it's at 2:48, so we know that it, you know, that that the timeline's wrong." Okay, but you also know that the timestamp says AM, right? Yeah, but we don't need to talk about that. See, that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. So it's not about trying to get a convicted killer off because people are falsely convicted constantly. There are false confessions. Like, how many times do we have to go over that? But we're comparing apples and oranges right now, right? Rick Allen is an apple, and these other false confession cases are oranges, and those are legitimate issues, not Richard Allen. And I'm going to show you why in this live stream. And it's pretty simple. So the disgusting part is not that they're defending Richard Allen, it's that they don't really have anything to show for it. Right? Like, I'm supporting this man, and then when I ask them why, they really don't have a clue. It's all conspiracy, hatred towards law enforcement, no real factual information. It's like, free this man, poor Kathy. No real discussion about what was really perpetrated against Abby and Libby. Two innocent kids going about their business, and they were dragged into a real life horror movie. I know the majority of us, probably all of us, could never endure that, right? We could never really wrap our minds around what happened to them. We're desensitized a little bit. Um, I just don't think we'll truly ever grasp what they went through and what Rick Allen perpetrated against those two young girls. And everybody, and it's like people don't care. It's like deep down, part of them is rooting for Richard Allen. You know, like, wow, like they're almost proud of him. Like, you really did that. Like, you did the Delphi murders. And that's that sickness that I'm talking about. And they're smart enough not to come out and talk about that, you know, the morbid curiosity part and their support for Satanism and, you know, things like that. But behind the scenes, they celebrate it. What's up, Grunge? At some point, anyone who commits a crime like this, they need to be honest. Yeah, and it's tough, you know. And I think Rick Allen, he even says during the call, and we're going to listen to it here in a minute. Um, like, I just want to be at peace with it. I want to apologize to the families, but Kathy just won't let him, and I don't blame her. She's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Her eagerness to go into denial, and then her trust in these slimy defense attorneys. And I don't mean that in a way. I just mean, if you're an attorney, you have to be slimy, right? It's like saying a snake slithers on its stomach. That's just the way they're built. You know, same thing with a snail. They're fucking slimy. It's just its nature. Hey, what's up, Tony? Richard Allen is such a. I don't like that word. Did he let Abby and Libby find God before he killed them? Yeah, let's not use that word around here. Free your own soul. Kathy is a pig right along with him. I don't know about that. She's a victim of Richard Allen, his manipulation, and really the evil of this world, right? They always come together. They always come together. This darkness, they get each other's back. So that darkness, once it forms together, it kind of consumes people like Kathy, right? Smothers them. all these people saying the things that she wants to hear. He's innocent. We have proof that he's innocent. She's like, okay, yeah, see, we got a team. He is innocent. They're saying all the things that she just wishes were true. But deep down in her heart, she knows that they're not. She knows that they're not true. But that darkness, she's dealing with this dark influence, trying to exploit everything that she wants and needs, right? Even Lucifer presented himself as an angel of light. So that's what they're doing. They're presenting themselves as an angel of light to Kathy. We will rescue you. We have what you're looking for. So it's hard to, I know you say it's excuses, but that's the darkness in you, right? Wanting to hate your fellow man, you wanting to judge them. Like, right? Tear them down. I don't need to understand. I just chop them down, right? It's a bad weed. But that's God's job, you know. We're just fruit in his garden. If anybody's going to get chopped down, he'll be doing the chopping. No, I know they definitely didn't believe that. All right, let's get started here. So this is going to be the official Dr. Walla testimony. Now remember, it doesn't matter what people say online. Oh, Dr. Walla said this, Dr. Walla did this. What about before the trial? None of that matters. That's why we have a trial. That's when it matters, when we have the actual witness testimony at trial. So I don't care about any of the rumors before. I don't care what Brad and Andy bring up, what other law enforcement officers wrote down in their notes that these people said. All that matters to me is what they're saying. They are the source of the information. Not anybody else. No, not a YouTube content creator, not a retired attorney who's constantly on X. None of that. None of it matters. This is the source of the information. Lab Rat 101, welcome in. Remember when Alan tried to convince his wife he told her he was there that day? Vaguely. Vaguely. Yeah, that's true, Grunge. So murder to, I guess, blasphemy, right? It's all the same. But that's not for me to decide. And that doesn't mean that you can't hold on to discernment, right? Tony says, yes, God gets us all. I don't think so, Tony. I think if you turn away from God, he doesn't know what you're doing. He could care less. Right? You have a new daddy. You don't have that connection anymore. But that's on you, right? Not you personally, I'm saying. So I don't think God does get us all. I think God gets some of us, and then the devil gets the rest. All right, let's put this up on the screen for you guys. This is going to be part of Wallace's testimony. Let's see. Is this the right one? Dr. Walla call. This might not be the one. I think I want to start here. Yeah, confession. We'll go to that one last. Okay. So this is Dr. Walla. A question from the attorneys. Yes, yeah, it was in an APOD counselor's cubicle. It started with him wanting to call his wife, and we attempted to assist him with those phone calls, but it didn't work. She didn't answer. So then he went on to provide narrative of what took place in regards to the crime. So he's finally kind of snapped out of it, and he has Dr. Walla who he can confide in. and he wants to be at peace with it. Okay, what did he tell you? Walla goes on to say, so he said he wanted to confess to his crimes. He went on to tell his story. He reported seeing his parents the morning of the crime, right? He said that in his interview. He stated he was supposed to go eat with them, but opted to get himself a six pack. He reported drinking 3 beers and then finishing the rest later. He stated, I bundled up. Once on the trail, he stated, I laid in wait. He reported seeing the girls and following them to the bridge. He mentioned doing something with his gun and stated, I think that's where the bullet fell out. And then he said, I ordered them down the hill. He stated his intention was to rape the girls and mentioned he thought they were older than their biological ages. Right? This is the part where like a psychopath would try to lessen um, the evil that they committed. Right? They don't want anybody to look at them in a poor light. Like they tell half truths, right? They leave out all the bad dirt on themselves. He said he saw a van, which scared him and caused him not to follow through on raping the girls. He said they crossed the creek and then he cut their necks. He indicated he wanted to make sure they were dead. He reported covering their bodies with tree branches. He said he exited the area by keeping off the trail and not to be seen. He said he returned to his vehicle, which he parked by a nearby building. He stated he managed to continue living his life after time passed by, and he hadn't been caught. Well, now, did you ask him about the crime that he had been charged with? I did not. Okay, in the first paragraph of your report, does he talk about whether he committed the offense? Yes. Does he indicate whether anyone helped him? He did not indicate anyone helping him. Does he say he did it alone? He did it alone. Yes, he does say that. Does he does he talk about whether he knows whether the victims were deceased before he left the scene? Yes. What did he say about his intentions? He said he knew his intentions were sexual in nature. Does he speak about the age of the victims? He reported thinking that they were at least 18 or 19, but could have been as young as 11. Does he give any other indication as to why he may have killed them? He talked about being selfish all his life, also being a coward. So when he got scared, he took their lives in order to preserve his own. And does he say anything about how he feels in it, about his retrospect? He was talking about hoping he could apologize to the families of the victims and wished he could go back and change his actions. Right? Most interviews, when investigators are talking with the sadistic killer, why'd you do it? I don't know. So Richard Allen says the same thing. Like, I killed Abby and Libby. I don't know why I did it. Right? The truth is he was fantasizing about it. His life spiraled and he couldn't hold back the demon anymore. You know, we see it time and time again. Okay, he was talking about hoping he could apologize to the families of the victims and wished he could go back and change his actions. Okay, does he expand at all about the sexual intent of the murders? He alluded to having a sex addiction. And did he give some background on that as well? A little bit. He said he didn't think he was molested as a child, but admitted to molesting his sister as a child. So remember when they asked her, like, did Richard Allen ever molest you? She said no. But he's saying he did it as a child. So he could have been like 10, 11 and molesting his younger sister because he was being molested. But he doesn't really remember that part. He's probably blocked it out of his mind. He reported viewing Playboy magazines and other sexually explicit materials, as well as experimenting with both male and female children his age. And he said he felt that's where the problem began. Right? So I wonder why he was experimenting, right? He's saying that that's when the problems began. So he's really leaving out the some of the most horrifying details of probably what actually happened to him, which was early childhood trauma, somebody doing to him what he's now doing to other people, including boys and girls his age, right? That tells me that whoever's doing this to him might also be a male, right? He's confused. I'm being molested by a man, so now I'm experimenting with men and females because his attraction is probably to females, but because he's being molested by a male, that could draw him and cause him to be confused in that direction. What do you guys think about that? CJK, it's also interesting that Alan groupies ignore his conversations to Walla because he admitted to being there and doing the dirty deed. They give him a pass for his own words. Well, they say it's a false confession. They say that Walla was feeding him information, but none of that's proven. They just throw it out there, and they just because it's possible and it fits their narrative, they just start adopting it as facts. I mean, it's really just delusion at this point, right? Dr. Wall is in it with Judge Gull. That's why you see people out there on social media saying, I fucking hate Judge Gull. Like, why? What? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Well, because she's obviously in on it with McClellan, right? They're fucking Freemasons and shit. So stupid. What's up, Jay Ray? Yes, it does say what? You have to kind of give the part that it says also. A dark side. Kathy, in my opinion, knew her husband was the killer. Definitely at the press when they asked who's the driver was parked there. She knew then at least when he don't go back to talk with them, in my opinion. I disagree with that dark side. I don't think that she believed that I don't think she knew he was parked there. That might be the reason why he parked at the CPS building. Right? Because like he said, he normally parks at the Mears lot or probably up at the Freedom Bridge parking. And like he told her, like I never went on the bridge and I never, I didn't park over there. I parked at the Mir, where I normally park. He probably told her the Mears lot. And that's why he didn't want her to be in the in the interview room when he was giving his side of the story. Because he had a story for Kathy, he had a story for Dan Doolin, and then he was going to give a new story to Mullen and Leggett. Playboy, hustler. Kids don't remember, some recall it later in life. I know someone that happened to like a flashback. Well, I know it's called repressed memories. I know hypnosis can kind of help with that kind of stuff. But also, he could just be trying to create and manipulate Dr. Waller, right? Present himself as not a victim, not wanting to share what really happened to him. But it sounds like he was molested, most likely by a male. That could be the reason he was experimenting with males. Yeah, find out who that is. Like, where did he get that? Somebody groomed him. Ted Bundy also admitted that pornography messed him up. Yeah, Rick Allen told Wally he's a sex addict. Oh, violent pornography? Hate Neil. I hate Richard and Kathy Allen. Well, hate. Don't let anybody steal your love, dude. You're already pretty much playing for the same team if you're hating, right? Tony N. That's the evil in you, Neil. There you go. Tony's starting to see. As long as you can see it, we all suffer from it, but it's good to be able to see it. All right, where were we? Children his age, and he said he felt that's where the problem began. So He's talking about sexually molesting his sister. He doesn't know whether or not he was molested, but this is right around the time he's experimenting with children his age, boys and girls. And he's saying that that's where the problem began. For me, that's very telling. It's almost like an inside look at his childhood and what he was dealing with. Does he also talk to you in this session about his drinking history? Yes. I direct you to the fourth paragraph under patient complaint. Okay, does he also talk to you in this session about his drinking history? Yes. I direct you to the fourth paragraph under patient complaint. So he admitted being an alcoholic. That was his word. Twice since 2011, he talked about how when he's in that state, he was cared for by his wife. Okay, now does he also make reference to religion? And I direct you to paragraph 6. He reported taking God into his heart on March 21st, 2023. He asked if I believed in God. He said he hoped everyone would find God before they died. He had recently received a Bible and reported wanting to read it before he died. He reported Psalms 23 gave him a sense of peace. What is Psalms 23? And that number 23, that's interesting. Let's see. Beginning in English. The Lord is my shepherd. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Okay. Now I know which one it is. 23. Two times three is 6. Grunge. Drinking helps him lose control easier and helps him bring out his darkest fantasies. Yep. Everybody that I talked to that knew him as a younger person said that he was the quiet. Both of these people who had no idea that I was communicating with the other both told me the same thing. The quietest person they've ever met. So I don't know. That tells me he's internalized. In my opinion, he wouldn't have done this while completely sober. You might be right. There's definitely a recipe for this kind of a disaster. And drug abuse is always up, always up there. Tony, I know I'm blocking stuff from my youth and it's haunted me all my life. But you break down if you stop to look, it's a matter of survival to just press on till you drop it. Yeah, it's true. Suppressed memories, the subconscious is always trying to protect us. That's how we get personality disorder or multiple personalities, right? Some kind of horrible trauma that we can't deal with on our own. We have to create, this tough guy to come protect us. And that's your second personality. You can't face the trauma. It's too much for you. So you have to create a whole new identity, to protect you from all of the pain. Often read at funerals. Tony N, I feel for you. All right, where were we? Okay, he asked if I believe in God. He said he hoped. Hold on, I'm going to sneeze. Oh man, the seasons changing always get me. All right. So he said he hoped everyone would find God before they died. He had recently received a Bible and reported wanting to read it before he died. He reported Psalms 23 gave him a sense of peace. And do you talk about what he would like to do with his Bible? He stated that he hoped he would be able to give it away, possibly even to the families of Abby and Libby, who could give so they could give it to somebody they think might need help. This guy is like a master manipulator. He's literally seeking sympathy, knowing he's the root cause of it all. Okay, let's go back here to this one now. So, have you had a chance to review that one? Yes. Okay, on that particular day, you see him out of the cell as well. Correct. Yes. And the arrangements are made for a cordless phone again? Yes. And you assist him with contacting his wife again? Is that right? Yes. On this particular day, does he reach her? Yes. And do you step out of the room? Right. To give him privacy. And upon coming back in, what happens? He said he wanted me to call back to tell his wife he did it. And then he said to me, I want you to hear this. Or I'm sorry, he said he wanted to call back and tell his wife he did it. And then he said to me, I want you to hear this so you can understand. See, he's trying to explain to her his frustration right here. He's trying to say, look, I'm trying to confess. You want to know why I'm going crazy? Watch. Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. I want you to hear this so you can understand. Okay, did he proceed to call his wife again? Yes. And did he confess to her regarding the crime that he's charged with? Yes. And from only seeing one side of the interaction with his wife, did you express an opinion about how she received that information? That statement was, she doesn't believe me. Right? So that's what he said to Dr. Walla. Like, she doesn't believe me. So honestly, if you think about it, guys, if it was not for Brad and Andy, Richard Allen would have been able to confess successfully because she wouldn't have been manipulated by those two guys to think that he's actually being poisoned, manipulated to confess. She would have said, okay, I love you anyway. Tell me what happened. How could something like this possibly happen? You have to explain to me in great detail how you're responsible for this. Convince me. Right? And then it would have all came pouring out. Like, oh, blaming her and all, of course he's going to play the victim because the manipulation never stops. That's his defense mechanism, I think. But this is proof right here. Like, don't go anywhere, Dr. Walla. I want to show you. Like, I'm going to confess. I'm healthy. I'm clear-minded. Watch. Hello, Kathy. Yes, I did it. I killed Abby and Libby. I don't know why I did it, but I did it. I just want to make peace with it. She says, no, you didn't. Don't you ever say that. You're sick. They're doing something to you. They're poisoning your food. And he says, like, well, there's somebody here with me. Well, it's Dr. Walla who's there with him. And she's like, oh my God. Like, she's picturing somebody like this with a gun to his head. Because that's the picture that Brad and Andy portrayed to her. They convinced her that they were going to make him falsely confess, right? This is a promo. They're going to do everything not to get Rick Allen out. They can't get him out. There's no way they're getting that dude out. Right? Everybody knows he's guilty except for, these idiots. They know it. We know it. So how are they going to maximize this? They're just going to prolong the case as long as they can, but they need Kathy to play ball. And if it wasn't for that, Richard Allen would have been able to successfully confess, and we would have had all of the details, whether others were involved, whether there was some kind of inside help, any connection, what's going on with the lost tip. Where's all the missing pieces, Rick? Well, even his wife doesn't believe him, so he might as well just shut the hell up. can't see the chat all the time on the elliptical. We can't tell if Richard is being real or not. I think it's both. He's saying what he wants to say. He wants to confess to get it off his chest and be at peace with it, but he's not going to give any of the disgusting details about himself. Yeah, he might have grunge. He may have come to God, right? Thinking that he's going to die from a heart attack or something like that. J Ray says, I think it's possible that she really didn't believe him. Well, it'd be one thing if she was just kind of speaking. It just the things that she was saying, right? Oh, they put something in your food. They've done something to your medication, right? They're doing something to you. Like, why? Why would she think that? Why would she suspect that? Right? Those ideas are being implanted in her brain. Like, don't worry, Kathy. Like, they're messing with him. Like, we're not off track. Trust me. Like, tell him not to talk on the phone. So they're using Kathy like a puppet to not, to protect their case and to protect their bottom line. Right? Because she's the client. They're the client. Rick and Kathy. If they don't play ball, then there's there's no representation. So you have to convince them to go along with your plans. Or else you got to go along with theirs. And they're leaning on you, right? Kathy and Rick, they're depending on these people as experts in their field. So they would be easily taken advantage of. Good afternoon, Sleuth and everybody. What's up, Sparky? J Ray. Sleuth, how do you feel about Richard Allen's call with his dad? Just more manipulation. That call came after he confessed to Kathy. And then later on, I think he called Kathy that day and said, I had a dream where I confessed to you. And then even in these confessions, he's like, look, you're dreaming again. So it's all manipulation from Rick and manipulation from his defense team, right? Everybody has their own motivating factors. You got these guys who want to get the world's largest promo for their firm, which they did. I can't hate on them for that, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game. And then you got Rick, who doesn't want to be known as a fucking monster that he is. So he's manipulating everybody on his side too. All right. So, side of interaction with his wife, did you express an opinion about how she received information? So they objected to that. Did he tell you what her reaction was to any of this? He made a statement. Okay, all right. I'll withdraw. The statement was, she doesn't believe me. He makes other statements in addition to that are contained in your report, correct? Yes. And then in conclusion, under assessment, psychotic symptoms are not significant. And he's responding to treatment and he's compliant with treatment. Is that correct? Also, she says, yes. All right, let's listen to the phone calls. So he's confessed to his wife earlier in the day, right? We're going to listen to the first phone call. She doesn't listen to him. He goes back and talks to Dr. Monica Walla. Says, hey, I want you to stay here. I need you to help me call my wife. I want you to stay here and listen. And after the phone call, he says, look, see, I told you, she doesn't believe me. Now you know why I'm going crazy. Because even though I want to have peace, I can't find peace. Nobody will believe me.
For English, press 1. Para español, oprima 2.
Can you guys hear that?
For a collect call, press 0.
Can you guys hear that call?
For a debit call, please enter your PIN number now.
Darkside says it's
enter
weird.
The area code and phone number you are calling now.
It's weird that people don't believe his confessions. I don't think it's weird at all, because false confessions are real, psychosis is real, and law enforcement trying to create that situation is real so that they can extract a false confession, right? They manipulate, torture, psychological torture, and then they get what they want, which is a false confession. So those things are real. But you have to look at what's in front of your face. You have to look at what you're dealing with. You have to look at the facts of the case, right? It's apples and oranges. We're not dealing with the false confession case. You can have false confessions from Richard Allen while he's under psychosis and then have real confessions when he's out of psychosis. Thank you, V. Good to see you, by the way.
Please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected.
Yeah, Dark Side. That would fit the profile, right? Whoever did this must have been out of their minds. Okay, just a little bit of context. So this is a phone call that Richard Allen makes right around the time he confessed to Dr. Walla about seeing the van, about going out to Mexico near Peru, was invited to go to lunch with his mother. He said nope. He decided he's going to go get a 6-pack of beer and go to the trails, bundle up and go to the trails, lay in wait, and sexually assault these 2 young girls that he saw. He was startled by a van and he panicked. He had to kill those girls to preserve his own life. And then he escaped. He fled the scene and avoided the trails. So these are the phone calls right at that same moment that he's making these confessions to Walla. So you tell me if he's under psychosis or it sounds like he's being coerced.
Please hold.
Hello, this is a free call from
Ricky.
An inmate at the Indiana Department of Corrections, Westville Correctional Facility.
To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free call, hang up or press 1. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Are you there?
I am.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
Oh, it's good to hear your voice.
It's good to hear your voice, baby.
Oh, you doing okay, hon?
Oh, I might be now.
Okay. Well, I'm supposed to be meeting Brad here at the gas station to sign something, so I didn't know what that was about. But are they gonna move you?
I don't
First
know.
name basis.
Okay.
I
Brad.
think maybe I'm losing my mind, but I'm not sure.
Oh no, no. No. So they allowed you to call, or have you been able to and just couldn't?
Oh, great. This is the part where it gets weird.
Yeah. I'm right here.
Oh. Are you okay?
Yeah? Yeah. What's going on, hon?
I don't know. I just think maybe I've lost my mind.
Oh. No, honey. We've all lost our minds at this point.
So Brad and so I can trust Brad and Andy then?
Yes, you can, sweetheart. Yes. Let's not talk about anything that we don't need to, but...
See, she's been coached.
They're our lawyers, honey.
She's been coached.
There are lawyers.
Well, I need to tell you something anyway.
He's like, fuck all that.
Okay. Are you sure you want to talk to me over the phone?
I think I have to.
Okay.
What's up, badass?
I need you to know that I did this.
What?
Now, don't forget, this is the Rick that for the first time in a long time is feeling fine. He's feeling much better. He's feeling like he might die from a heart attack. So he's trying to get close to God. He's like, I suffer from a heart condition. I could die from all of this. It's a lot of stress. So I need to get right with God. So he may have actually at this point been establishing this connection with God. But once you have that connection and you're right there, right? You're accepting that. Things become clear. You're like, okay, well, I have to confess, right? That's the righteous thing to do. If I'm really going to go down this path, that's step number one, is getting that off my chest and finding peace. So he does this with Dr. Walla. She's treating him. She's telling him, hey, there's a lot of people that are supporting you out there on social media. There's part of her that believes his confession is false. There's part of her that's not sure, right? This guy's sick. He made this confession in great detail, but she still has faith in him, right? He's still the accused, not the convicted. So Dr. Walla is fighting for him. She's not there to manipulate him. That's the interesting thing about it. So it doesn't really matter her diagnosis. What matters are the facts and the pieces of information that were provided to her from the mouth of the accused. And that's what we're going to prove here in just a little bit. It all fits in perfectly.
No. No, you didn't, dear. There's no way. There's no way, dear.
Love me.
Oh, and by the way, so he confesses to Dr. Monica Walla, and then he comes in and makes this phone call privately. And then he's going to ask her to come back into the room, and then he's going to make the second phone call.
Dear, there's no way. Okay.
I hope you still love me.
I always will go love you, honey, but no, you have not done anything. And I think you are not well. So you don't need to be saying you did something you didn't do.
Coaching right there from Brad and Andy. 100%.
Well, hon, this is the first time I've been able to talk to you, and I've been trying forever.
Were
He's
you just
begging
not
her.
allowed to call me, or?
I don't know what's going on, hon.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to lose my mind now, though.
Okay.
Because of her, is what he's trying to say. You won't listen to me. I'm definitely going to lose my mind now.
I'm meeting Brad here for some reason, so.
Brad. I'm going to meet Brad.
I don't know.
I've been asking for personal visitation, and that's not going through, and
I know.
then it's taken me, feels like it's taken me forever.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It's okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
He's like, what do I do
Trying
now?
to be at peace with things.
Honey.
See,
And
right here. This is the most important part of the call.
it's taken me, feels like it's taken me forever.
You have 1 minute remaining.
It's okay. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just trying to be at peace with things.
Honey.
And and I had a dream that I needed to let you go, and I didn't know how to let you go, and...
Well, then you're dreaming stuff again.
See, you're dreaming stuff again. So this was all that day. So he came when he first confessed, right? He made his first official phone confession to Kathy. He said, "I did it, I did it, I did it," and she said, "No, no, no." Hangs up on him. No, don't ever say that on the phone again. Clicks, hangs up. So the next day, talks to his dad and starts backtracking on all of that. Like, hey, if anybody talks to you, he starts setting the seed. He starts planting the seed there, his little manipulative seed, and he wants his dad to go spread it. So that's what he's doing. He's manipulating his father to kind of pass along this message that he's losing his mind. So, right, father passes along the message to Kathy. Yeah, he's losing his mind. Right, later on that day, gets a phone call from Richard Allen. Hey, I had a dream. And she's like, what? Yeah, I had a dream that I was confessing to you. And she's like, that wasn't a dream, idiot. Like, you literally were confessing over the phone. He's like, really? Because I thought it was a dream. So this is just him being a manipulative person and everybody falling for it. But it's clear to me. I think it's clear to most people. I think maybe some are just falling for it.
Okay? That's all it is. You don't be talking about anything on the phone negative like that. Okay?
But I have to let you know that I did it, hon.
Dear, no, you didn't.
Absolutely, dark side.
There's no way. There's no way.
Thank you for using GTL.
Okay, so in Dr. Walla, let's go back to her testimony here. Okay, so that phone call ends, and this is what happens. It says, right, and you step out of the room, right, to give him privacy, and upon coming back in, what happens? So she's walking in the room after that phone call. He said he wanted to call back to tell his wife that he did it. And then he said to me, I want you to hear this so you can understand. Okay, did he proceed to call his wife again? Yes. So this is him. That's what he meant by, now I'm really going to lose my mind. Because I needed the one person to have my back, and you're not. You're over here running around with Brad, right? Allowing him to control you while I'm going crazy here. And all I really want is peace, is what Rick Allen is trying to say, trying to convey to her unsuccessfully. So, Dr. Walla, please come here. No, I don't want privacy. I want you to stand right here so that you can understand why I'm going to absolutely lose my shit. And here's the phone call that comes at that point in time.
For English, press 1. Para español, oprima 2. For a collect call, press 0. For a debit call, press 1.
To learn how to use this phone and know more about global
You guys
telling
can hear that, right?
multiple calling options,
Please enter your PIN number now. Please enter the area code and phone number you are calling now.
please hold. Please wait while your call is being connected.
So Dr. Wall is standing right there with him this time. He's like, watch this shit.
Please hold.
Hello, this is a free call from
Ricky?
An inmate at the Indiana Department of Corrections, Westville Correctional Facility.
To accept this free call, press 0.
Thanks,
to
V.
refuse this free call, hang up
Thanks,
or
Sparky.
press 1. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, it's me.
Yeah.
I need to know if you still love me, baby.
Yes, dear.
Okay. And everybody else will as well?
He's ready.
Honey?
This could have all been over right here at this very moment. You can thank
'Cause I
Brad,
may have to
Andy, and
spend the rest
Kathy.
of my life here, or
Stop talking about it, please. That's not true. Okay?
Selfish.
Okay?
She snapped out of it right there.
I don't understand. I just got to know that everybody's still going to love me.
I love you.
That's not an answer. It
Because I may only be able to see you one last time.
was like a squeak.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. It's not true. No.
It's true, honey.
No, it's not.
It's true, honey.
No, it's not. You're not well, sweetheart.
I'm well.
No. No, you're not.
Yes, I am, honey.
I'm well.
I just hope that you'll still love me, because I may only, if I get the electric chair, or if I get the death penalty,
No. No. No, honey, that's not going to happen. No.
if it does, will you be there for me?
Yes. It's not going to happen, dear.
Do what?
Nothing. This isn't right.
Here comes the coaching.
They messed you up so bad.
It's okay, honey. I did it.
He's met with
I did
resistance.
it, dear.
Stop.
I cannot stop. I've got somebody here listening to me right now, dear.
Absolutely, Elizabeth.
I did it.
Here, sorry I interrupted that part.
Stop.
I cannot stop. I've got somebody here listening to me right now, dear.
No. I did it.
I don't.
Oh, you did it, dear. No way.
It's almost like if Kathy accepted it, she would cut Rick off. You know, that's part of it for her, I think. That's why she gets all squeaky when she's kind of accepting the possibility, right? She can't bear it. Like, she literally can't even control the tone of her voice when she's trying to accept what he's saying. She's literally starts squeaking. She cannot communicate. It's like literally making her ill. And Rick cannot stand that, because what that is to me is that's Kathy knowing that if what he's saying is true, that she absolutely would cut him off 100%. And that squeakiness is also communicating and conveying that same thing to Rick, who has a dependent personality disorder, with her as the target. He's literally latched and wrapped around her leg like a ball and chain. He can't live without her. So he's telling her a truth and she physically can't even accept it. It's making her ill. He's not going to do that to her. So therefore, he's trying to ask for help from Dr. Monica Walla. Like, what do I do in this situation? Like, help me. I want you to understand what I'm dealing with. The person that I care about the most will not allow me to confess. Therefore, I can't confess and I cannot find my peace. What do I do? Help, Doc.
I killed Abby there.
No, you didn't. Stop. Stop saying that. No, you didn't.
I knew I was supposed to let you go. I was trying to let you go.
Stop. Dear, we're going to be back together.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Now, remember, not too long ago, Kathy was living a normal life. Like she was entering like grandbaby stages of life. You know what I mean? This fucking derailed all of that. So the thought of losing her husband, her partner in crime, through life, it sounds like she just can't bear it. Whenever she thinks about, like when he says, I knew I should have let you go, she can't even bear that. She's like, it's like she's bouncing around in her mind with things that she can't accept. Her subconscious mind is like, nope. It's like reflecting and then bouncing right off of something else. It's, could he be the killer? Ping pong between that and losing her husband. Ping, ping, ping. And then she just turns into like this squeaky mouse. And he knows that he's the one causing that.
I hope you're always going to love me. No matter what.
Let's see. Let's go to this comment real quick. Elizabeth, do you think he would still have confessed if she left him? She could not accept her marriage was a lie. Well, yes, I think this was Rick. This was him trying to leave her. He was expecting her to be disgusted. But instead, she shut down. Like it literally, I think it made her ill. He was expecting, hey, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to confess to you, and then she's going to leave him. But for her, the thought of leaving him and the possibility of him being the killer, she could not, I don't think she could handle it. So she just went right into that denial. It's so much easier. And then when you have a whole group of people that are feeding into that denial and helping you, people like Brad and Andy, the leaders of the Rick Allen is Bay, that crowd. Give me a second. Thank you, Sparky. But let me go back to that. Sorry. So what I mean is he was trying to leave her. So if Kathy was like, all right, you did it. I'm breaking up with you. We're getting a divorce, yada, yada. Yes, he would have continued to confess because he has to do that in order to confess because he's been trying to confess and she won't let him because she's still in love with him. She loves him. Like he didn't do this because if he did this, that means she married the guy who did this. So they did it together, right? It's just as awful for her. Like I married you. I had a kid with you, right? I moved to Delphi with you. I supported you through all your shit. And you did this? Like she just can't come to terms with it. And it's weird. You can see that it's putting Rick in a really, really tough spot. Poor Ricky. And that's what he's trying to convey to Dr. Waller. Like, what do I do? Ooh. Now you know why I have to be silent, right? And she's probably like, yeah, I get it, Rick. I get it. I get it, right? You poor baby.
Always love me, baby.
Who's with you? Who's with you? Who's with you? Who's with you? You need to stop talking. If your lawyer's not there, you need to stop talking. Who's with you, honey? Who's with you?
Thank you for using GT.
Right, who's with you? And then she hangs up. Okay, so I think right now that's going to set the stage. Right, that proves that Rick Allen was not insane. He was not under psychosis. He was literally trying to confess. He even told his doctor, look what I'm dealing with. Like, she won't listen to me. I'm trying to find peace. And the only person I truly care about, the only opinion that matters to me is my wife, Kathy's opinion. When I tell her what I did, she's going to break up with me and she's going to divorce me. Right? I knew I had to let you go, is what he said. But instead, it's not that, it's like she didn't even have a choice in the matter. It's like her subconscious just wouldn't allow her to accept that. But I think the reason that something like that might happen is because of the influence of the attorneys and people, the support system online for Rick Allen. Those things kind of fuel her denial. But the truth is, if all that stuff wasn't around, I truly believe that she would have accepted his confession. She would have left him, right? Knowing that she's not going to continue to be married to the guy who killed Abby and Libby, right? That's disgusting. She knows that, but she can't accept it. She can't accept that truth. It's too hard, in my opinion. Brian, what's up? Not just cut him off, but then she would have to accept she married somebody who was capable of that, and that he had her fooled all this time. It's inconceivable to her. Yeah, it's inconceivable to a lot of people. Recently, I hit the streets and I was asking people about their thoughts on true crime cases. And one of the people I asked, it was in reference to the Menendez brothers case. And I said, well, do you believe that they were, sexually assaulted to the point that they had no choice but to kill? And this person's response was interesting. She said, yeah, anybody that would do that to their parents, normal people don't just do that. Like, something must have happened. And I was, I didn't say anything, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking that's just not true. Sadistic psychopaths kill all the time for reasons that would never make sense to us. Right? So just that we can't fathom it. It doesn't make any sense. Like, people can't even understand how somebody could just brutally murder their entire family. It happens all the time. Young kids, old kids, the father, mother, doesn't matter. For whatever reason, they will wake up that morning and kill their entire family. There doesn't need to be any childhood trauma. There doesn't need to be anything. And you ask them why you did it, they might not even be able to tell you why. But usually it's to shed an old skin for a new skin, or because somebody wasn't listening and they were sick of it. Right? They were sick of being made to feel like the piece of shit that they know that they are. What's up, Anna? Kathy came home from work at 5:30, several hours after the crime. Rick was asleep on the couch. If he acted normal then and for years after, it's a big leap for her to believe he's guilty. Yep, compartmentalized killers. There's a reason that they're compartmentalizing, so that they can hide this horrible truth from the rest of the world. So I don't blame her. Kind of reminds me of Kathleen Ramsland, Dr. Ramsland, in reference to Brian Kohberger, who she actually knew personally, right? She taught him. They worked together. So you ask her the question, well, how did you not see Brian Kohberger as a sadistic killer that he is? And she's like trying to explain, like, no, that's what it's all about. You can't see it. Even the most trained eye cannot catch the deceit, because these people go through their entire lives learning how to wear that mask. So it was easy for Rick. It's nothing new for him. right? It went from fantasizing about rape and murder to just actually doing it. And he probably knew that it would one day it would happen. So it it's not shocking to him. He's thinking, well, it happened. I always knew this day would come. It came. We'll see how it plays out. Let's go home and take a nap. I'm exhausted. All that adrenaline is physically exhausting. All right, let's make it quick. We're gonna wrap this all up. Actually, here, let's take a quick break. I need to grab another water anyway. So be back in 2 minutes. So if you need to grab a drink or go to the restroom or whatever, now would be a good time. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry, I had to run and do a bunch of stuff. All right, let's go ahead and check in on the chat real quick. Richard Allen in that flat voice couldn't sell me a vacuum cleaner, so I definitely don't buy his double murder confession here. Of course you don't. But that's why we're going to go ahead and prove it. Some people are susceptible to the manipulation of sadistic killers. Good thing we have corroborating information that supports his confession. That way it doesn't matter what people think or say. The facts will speak for themselves. So we have a detailed confession. We have Richard Allen's. Obviously, he's not insane, right? We have the phone calls. He sounds totally fine. So that's all that matters. You don't have to buy his confession. All we have to know is that he was not out of his mind when he made the confession. Those phone calls prove it. So he mentioned being scared off by the white van. It just so happens that Brad Weber owns that white van, right? So let's start there. So we are going to prove that Richard Allen was telling the truth when he gave his only detailed confession. And also right around the time he tried his best to confess to his wife, she wouldn't allow it. Now we're going to see if any of it actually adds up, to a real confession, because it could be a false confession. Let's see. He mentions a van, being scared off by a van. Let's see if the facts support this. Okay. So it looks like Brad Weber, who drives the van, testified to driving the van home at that exact moment in time, right? Clocked in at 5:41 a.m., clocked out at 2:02 p.m. 2:02 p.m. All right. Well, how long does it take for him to get from work to his home in Delphi? Oh, look at that. 29 minutes. 29 minutes. So why is that interesting? So if it takes 30 minutes for Brad Weber to get home, where does that put him at? Puts him there at about what, 2:32? Okay, 2:32. Clocked out at 2:02, gets home right at about 2:32. It's a 30-minute drive. What's interesting about that? Well, let's look at Libby's phone data. Right? Why is it so important? So who gives a shit if Rick Allen's telling the truth? Who gives a shit if Dr. Walla thinks he's being truthful? He provided specific information during this confession. And let's see if we can back it up. All right. Let's find around 2:32. Let's see if anything interesting shows up on Libby's data here. Around 2:32. There's 2. Snapchat 2:04. We remember those photos. We can prove where they were on the bridge. 2:13. We know that they're being abducted at this very moment in time, being forced down the bridge, down the hill. Right? They didn't go very far. They stopped walking at about 2:18. What are they doing right there? Holy shit. Exactly 2:32. We have movement. Rick said he saw a van and he crossed the creek. That him and the girls crossed the creek. Okay. Is it starting to become clear yet? He clocks off at 2:02. Fact. Takes 30 minutes to drive from where he worked, the Subaru plant, back to Delphi at his home. So, I mean, if you do basic math, right? 30 plus 2 is 2:32. And then you go and look and match it up with Libby's phone data. Right at 2:32, almost right on the dot. You have movement. But not only movement, what else do you have? Right before that, you have flight climbed. Two flights. That's interesting. You see that police tape? What do we have right before that police tape? Looks like about 2 floors here. 2 floors. And we know that the girls crossed right here. They went up 2 floors right there. How do we know that? J. Kyle Keener. That's how. Rick says, I was startled by a van, crossed the creek with the girls, and then I cut their necks. Libby's phone data 100% supports that. Down to seeing the white van at 2:32, which matches up perfectly with Weber. Down to running the exact distance that it would take to cross that creek, go up 2 floors. The iPhone's picking everything up, and then travel just a short distance from there. And the phone does not move again until about 4 a.m. when something glitches on the phone, and then it's activated when the girls are found the following day. So, J. Kyle Keener, I want you to focus right here. Oops, sorry about that. So this stick over here is what you're seeing in this photo right here. See it right here? It's this tree right there. So now you can see the crime scene is right here. So they cross the creek because it looks like you can cross it. If somebody's trying to rape you, forcing you to disrobe, and they're distracted, you know, and this is really the only way to go, yeah, I'm going this way. That's the direction I'm going to get picked up in anyway. I got to get back onto that side of the water in order to survive. There's nothing good over here. My only option is to cross the creek. So I don't think it was Rick's choice. He was distracted and most likely had to put back on his clothes. He was making himself extremely comfortable. And then boom, here comes Brad Weber right at 2:30. Right around then, right? 2:30. And the fact that he had to put on his clothes bought them just enough time to create some distance, some space. So now that we know that that's the location, we can kind of see where the ground is disturbed. There's like footprints and everything. This is J. Kyle Keener. So that would put the crime scene kind of way over here to the left. Yeah, so it looks like they kind of climbed up here to the side. This would be the 2 floors right here that we're seeing. Right, movement. Climbed 2 flights. At what time? 2:32. Why does that matter? Because that's exactly when Brad Weber got home. And that's what Rick Allen confessed to. Let's see. We'll finish here with what Weber had to say. Remember, it's not what social media says. It's not what the defense team says. It's not what some law enforcement officer wrote down in his notes. When it comes down to it, the source of the information is the person themselves. And that's why testimony at a trial is so important. We're going right to the source. That's what matters. That's the information. You can't mold it in to what you want it to look like and fit into your narrative. You have to take it at face value. So regardless of what anybody said about ATM machines, this, and that, it's either he's lying or he's telling the truth, right? This is his testimony. And if you say he's lying, you have to prove it. It says, when I got off work, I went straight home. So he's saying, I got off work. I didn't do anything. I went straight home. Takes me 30 minutes to get home. Boom. White van scares Rick right at 2:30. He told Monica Walla a white van scared me, crossed the creek, killed the girls. That's what the evidence suggests. Did he do it alone? I don't know. Most likely, yeah. Did he know the girls would be there? I don't know. And that day you got off at 2:02. Yep, they told him he had to leave. They said everybody needs to go home. There's no work today. We're not paying you. So there you have it, guys. All the proof that you need. You have the most detailed confession. You have all the evidence you could ever want to back up and support that confession. 100% proof Richard Allen is a guilty person. We'll spend 5 minutes in the chat, and then I got to go. In my opinion, it's a big leap to think he wasn't involved. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Darkside. At the very least, like, he's the number one suspect, right? You're not going to be calling him Bay and supporting him like he's your long-lost brother or something. That's weird. It's the most honest murderer confession. If only he had accepted it. If only she had accepted it. Her own selfish needs came above Abby and Libby. Yeah, but Elizabeth, I do agree with you. But then again, I don't know if she had control of it. You know what I mean? It takes a doctor to kind of go into that. But that's the way I see it. I feel like even if she wanted to, she couldn't accept it. It was almost like he told her and she tried to. She was like, okay, you did it. And the second her mind just started exploring that possibility, she just shut down. So I don't know if she's physically capable of accepting that. Not with a whole team helping her with the delusion that he's not the guy. I wonder, is writing the movie script where he plays gross? I don't know. I think they scared that guy into submission. Badass. Those cheeky Europeans got to him. The people who think he is innocent are delusional. He confessed 60 times. Hey, false confessions. Some people don't believe in them. Some people don't quite understand. But it is a real anomaly. In my opinion, I believe the day he was arrested and Kathy and Richard talked in the car for hours, she knew. Let's not forget he lied to Kathy about not being on the bridge. Yeah, probably lied about where he parked too. Yeah, she knew he couldn't accept it mentally. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's a possibility. I didn't hear any 60 confessions or anything near. Yeah, I only heard like a dozen. But one thing I haven't heard was Rick adamant about his innocence. You know, you think by now if he truly was innocent, he would have already spoken to reporters. He would have sat down and gave an exclusive. But none of that. We don't have any of that. No communication with the outside world. Claiming his innocence. None of that. It's very strange. No alibi. Like, you have all this solid evidence against him and the dude doesn't even have an alibi. Yet you're going to support him at the very least, right? He's the number one suspect at the very least. Jesus. Give me that. Yeah, I'm sure he does, badass. Probably already has a side chick. Somebody by the name of Hybrista. Last name Philia. Ophelia Hybrista. I made a funny. Yeah, 100% agree. I think his attorneys promised a lot and didn't and aren't going to be able to come through. Absolutely not. And they're still riding that wave of guilty conscience, doing these appearances. They're still just exploiting it all. And honestly, I don't hate on them for that. It doesn't make them good people, but that seems to be a rare commodity these days anyway. I'm getting to the point where I don't expect people to be good. He was being drugged. He told his mother he was all right and that he was being drugged. Yeah, that is interesting. Talked with the bar owner about how horrible he felt about what happened to the families. Compartmentalized killer. They even convinced themselves in the moment that they are not the guy, right? And then after the conversation and they're all alone, they kind of snap out of it. They're like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm the killer." Rick's like, "Oh, wait, I almost forgot that I actually did commit that murder." Because if he doesn't forget that he commits the murder, he knows that he's going to get found out. Same goes for all his horrible childhood trauma and all the things that he was trying to hide as a kid that prepared him to hide such secrets. And remember, he wasn't shocked, in my opinion, at all. He's not shocked. He knew this day would come. He's like, "Oh, I knew it would happen. That day that I always knew would come came. I finally killed somebody." Let's see. How do I stop sharing my damn screen here? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Sparky. If you guys would like to send me an email, there you go. Don't be shy. Don't be a scrub either. Hit the like button. Kathy tried to manage his alcoholism. She couldn't help him. She tried for years. I don't know. I don't know anything about that dynamic. I can only tell you what I see and my opinion on that. But go on and speculate. Yep, in the parking lot. Yep, changed his story. That's a red flag too. Whenever you change your story or you have different stories, different he had like a different story for everybody that he talked to. Quite the web. Everything was just holding on by such a thin thread. It snapped. V says, "I'm having deja vu. We debated this like a week ago. I think that's when Sleuth called me intellectually dishonest." Yeah, that definitely sounds like something I would say. All right, we'll go to a couple more, and then I got to get out of here. Let's check on Dark Side. KK also looked up how long does DNA last, and erased everything on his phone. And the week of the murders, don't know though. Yeah, what if it was just Keegan Kline and Richard Allen? No TK or any of that shit. And he's the one that waited in the car. So you got Keegan Kline waiting in a car at the cemetery. Rick Allen takes his car, goes to the CPS building, You have Kagan Klein on one phone monitoring what the girls are doing on Snapchat. And on a second phone, he's communicating with Rick Allen. Like, hey, I just got a message from them. They're on the bridge. Something like that I think is possible. Very possible. Brian, no, the defense lost because 12 jurors applied cooking sense to the mountain of circumstantial evidence. Yeah, the stuff that I presented today is enough to get him convicted. The fact that he confessed in such detail, and then we have phone calls from the exact same day proving that he wasn't insane or out of his mind, and then that being the only detailed confession that he gives, expecting that his wife would accept it, but instead she kind of reversed it. She sent him spiraling in reverse. But it doesn't matter. He's already given us the information that we were looking for, which are details that only the killer would know, that can be supported with actual evidence. Open and shut. All right, let's see. Let's go to one more. Let's go to CJK. Well, it all points to Allen, and his confessions align with what others saw. Not to mention he mentioned the stocks, a van, and a box cutter. Yep, that's it, guys. All right. Thank you to all of you who caught the live stream. Replay crew, I got your back too. Let us know what you think. Dr. Walla, the confession, the details about the van, lining up with Libby's phone data, and Brad Weber's testimony, along with proof of when he logged in and logged out of his job in Lafayette. It's a 30-minute drive, putting him back in Delphi right at 2:32. I mean, we're talking down to the minute here, guys. Richard Allen said he was startled by a van, crossed the creek with the girls, and slit their throats. The evidence supports that. So continue supporting a child killer if you'd like. But not only do you look silly, but you look kind of dark-hearted too. But do what you will. Everybody else, I'm going to catch you on the next one. Hit the like button on the way out. Hit the Cash App if you can. If you can't, no worries. Members, I'm going to see you guys real soon. Peace.